Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Of course, back here with Curt. Pretty exciting announcements. QYOU out through Samsung TV. First things first, Curt, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for asking.
Awesome, awesome. Well, here, pretty exciting announcements. I know there's a bunch of things we want to go through, talk about how things are going to link to other stuff. But look, I'll throw it to you. I'll let you kind of take the highlights, and you can go from there.
Yeah, sure. Well, we've been working on this for a while, actually, and Samsung televisions are they're the most popular and very highly regarded television set manufacturers in India. They're also a massive smartphone distributor in India. I mean, people probably know that India is vastly dominated by Android. iOS still has a very small percentage. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 or 5%, but it's somewhere in that range. So typically, if you're in India, someone's operating an Android phone. And I believe Samsung has 20+ % market share there. So if you're talking about 700 or 800 million smartphones now in India, you're talking about 150 million Samsung smartphones. So there's a number of aspects of this deal that are really important. The first one is this: most people in North America are familiar with the concept of a smart TV or a connected TV. I mean, this has been around for a while. And the so-called, evolution, revolution of people cutting the cord from cable and satellite providers and just using their broadband connection into a smart TV, and they have Netflix and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus, and or I guess that's on Disney Plus now or whatever, and then a host of other channels. Well, the key to that is the host of those other channels are free channels. And that's what we are in India. We're a free to air channel. That's why we can get carried on free dish, which is the big announcement that we made, a few weeks ago about adding 38 million households. So the bottom line is this, is that the Samsung ecosystem is extremely large in India from a television standpoint, and it's massive in India from a mobile handset standpoint. So they've created their own platform, Samsung TV Plus, which is their free TV platform on their devices. Why do they do that? They want more people to be sticking to their devices and getting their devices because they can get free content and free TV. So they've just launched that as of now in India. We're one of the early channels to go onto the platform, which is really a big deal. We are available on any Samsung television set, I think going back roughly about 3 years, that you'll be able to upload the Samsung TV Plus platform, and certainly on any new ones. And then of equal and maybe ultimately, down the road, much greater importance is that they're launching Samsung TV Plus on the Galaxy handsets in India. So in the aggregate, this is, putting us in front of potentially a massive number of users. And it's very early. I mean, this isn't something that's going to have any kind of, profound impact on us in, say, the quarter that we're about to enter. But we're a very, very early entrant into this. And some people may have heard of companies like Pluto or Tubi here in North America that both respectfully got bought for, I think, 380 million and 540 million respectively from different media companies. The thing is that this whole concept of the connected TV, of channels going into that, of free content, that's the world we're in. And in India, the price point that I can assure you works the best is free. I don't know, it's everywhere in the world the best, but we're an ad-supported platform. We're free. We need lots of users and lots of distribution to get to those users. So getting onto this platform is it's a major step, really more for the future than the way the free dish announcement affects us immediately.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I know we were chatting just before I hit record, and really how great Samsung, kind of competitively has come to the market, especially, in North America, their dominance in kind of TVs. Obviously, you can think back 10 years, not many people had a Samsung TV. Now, it's incredible how many people, and like you're saying, a lot of people using the internet. Hey, click on these different channels. Awesome. So, really, I guess to put some words in your mouth, getting involved with a brand like Samsung that's growing, that more people are adopting early, in hopes that, hey, this is a great way to get in front of new opportunities and new users, assuming that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, most people are probably familiar with Roku. If they're not familiar, if they don't have the device, they're familiar with the name Roku. And what Roku did is they said, oh, okay, we'll create this thing that you can stick in an HDMI connection in the back of your TV. It'll connect via Wi-Fi in your home network. And now you can bring in all this content through your Roku stick. Well, what happened next is Roku very smartly went to the TV manufacturers and said, hey, why don't you launch your TV with Roku already embedded into your TV? Because now they don't need to buy the stick. They buy the new TV and Roku's in it. So they made a big push to do that. Well, it became such a huge business. Roku now makes much more revenue from advertising through Roku sticks because the volume of content watch than it does from the hardware. They started as a hardware company. They're still a company, but now what they're about is the content and the advertising against that content. So Samsung and Vizio and LG, all these companies went, what the hell? What are we doing? We're giving them all this new additional business. And most people know that margins on hardware are very small. So they went in and said, wait a minute, here's another way to gain revenue and margin by having our own platform. Why do we have to go to Roku? It's our set. Why do we want to license it and give them all that additional money? Let's take it ourselves. So that's the thing that happened in the marketplace. And Samsung TV Plus launched, I don't know, probably not more than maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago max in the United States and in North America. And they have a huge amount of viewership and people watching. Vizio has launched their own. LG has their own. All these guys are getting into that. But in India, what's so important about this is that they've just launched and you want to get early onto these platforms. And the only people that can get onto them are people like ourselves that are offering free content. Because you can't do that if you've got a channel that you're getting paid sub fees for, et cetera. It's the same analogy with why there's only 70 channels on Free Dish instead of 700, because you have to be free. And so, as a stepping stone, when we talk about TV sits here right now, OTT, which really includes Samsung Plus TV and connected TVs, is here, and then mobile is here. Well, really in India, mobile has jumped past TV. So they'll be chasing that. But the fact that we're on Samsung devices, TV and mobile phones, really what they're saying is by the end of April, it's a major push in the right direction for us.
Wow. Incredible. And curious, to tie this back into, how does the Q benefit? I know we're going to get questions. So I got to ask, you're saying not an immediate thing, but hopefully, in the next 6 months, 12 months, we expect, is there anything you can say?
Well, I mean, look, I hope when I say not an immediate thing, I guess what I'll say is, uh, we've been focused a lot on the television distribution side because that remains where the largest, what are called CPMs, cost per thousand views for advertising. That's where the highest rates are. It's, can be as much as 10 times what it is in digital. So, million views on television might be equal to 10 million views on digital or mobile platforms, or maybe even more than that in some cases. So this is a new emerging marketplace all over the world, but it's developed much more so in certain places like the US and Canada, but it's really starting to develop in India. The thing is that, when you look at where we're at right now, I mean, we're entering probably the most important quarter in the history of the company with respect to what we've been doing in India. We announced our free dish distribution. It's 38 million homes. There's a entity called Ficky Frames that works with Ernst and Young in India. They just put out a release, you can Google it, yesterday, that said that free dish is at 40 million homes, growing to 50 million homes over the next 3 to 5 years. Connected TVs, they're saying, is going to be at 40 million over the next 5 years. So these are major distribution hubs. And so what we're doing is TV remains that super important thing, and we're going to see a lot of what happens with our ratings and the other brands that we've been chasing over the April-May timeframe. And so when I talk about it not being immediate, it's immediate in terms of its importance. It's immediate in terms of producing some small incremental revenues. But I think 2022 is the year when you'll start to see that being something that's significant and substantial for us. Maybe it's faster. I don't know. That would be awesome news if it was.
Yeah, well, awesome. Well, hopefully we get an update on how the race, I guess if we're gonna put it, is going with other brands. But this was an awesome release. I figure getting a deal like this done isn't easy. Anything else you wanted to kind of say about either this or other things happening?
Well, I think, people that are listening or followers or people that have been paying attention to what we're up to, um, we launched this Thursday, April 1st, hopefully not an auspicious day to debut. It's
April
not an
Fool's Day.
not an April Fool's joke, everyone. It's actually happening. And we're still adding more distribution. I mean, we're working on some other distribution deals in addition to that that are not insignificant as we speak. But we're going to be loaded up, let's call it by the end of April, with distribution levels that we've stated our goal was 100 million TV households, and I'm still confident we're going to break that, by sometime in Q2. And let's assume that we do that. Well, the brands that we've been chasing, Bindos, owned by Disney, MTV, owned by Viacom, Zoom, owned by Times of India, who just invested into us through Brand Capital, their investment arm. I mean, these are major media companies, global media companies, and we're catching their youth channels and we're catching up to them. And so the big goal right now in this quarter is, can we catch those youth channels? Can we become a leading youth channel in the territory? And then the other thing is that brand capital investment. Guess why they call it brand capital? It's because it's the branding. The money's meant to be driving your brand in India. That's what they're all about, is increasing the value of your brand, therefore increasing the value of the investment that they've made in your business and in your company. So Q2, calendar Q2, which is our fiscal Q4, the calendar Q2, which starts April 1st, April, May, June, super important time frame for our company, and a super important time for people who have been watching QYOU Media to keep an eye on us and see what's happening, because we expect that this is going to be, frankly, when we move from, hoping that we can compete with these guys to being right there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, yeah, a lot of good teasers, a lot of exciting updates in time to come. Curt, thanks so much for joining. This is a crazy update, and I know we've hopefully got some other stuff coming in the next couple weeks. Knock on wood.
Yep, hope so. And thanks as always, Jason, and everybody. Keep watching. Exciting stuff coming.
Awesome.